Right. Joining us now, we welcome back Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt. Senator Schmitt, welcome as always. I guess I'm going to have to talk about the shutdown at some point. But before I talk about the shutdown, your thoughts on this Middle Eastern, I'm going to just say Middle East peace plan, Middle East miracle, Middle East change, China's a big loser, Iran's I mean, what do you think about this, Senator Schmitt? This is some stuff, don't you think? This is hot stuff.
It is. It's remarkable, and I think he's cementing his place in history as the peace president. And that has always been President Trump's North Star, which is to seek diplomacy first. And I think you're seeing a rebirth of American realism with this president, in that you see the world as it is. You understand what our core national interests are. We're not going to get spread too far and too wide. We can't be everywhere all at once all the time. That's why Europe's now stepping up in a much more meaningful way. We're focused on the homeland. We understand the civilizational threat that China is, this competing rival we have across the Pacific. And when you can intervene peacefully and through diplomacy to solve conflicts, that's an appropriate role of American leadership. And President Trump has done that time and time again, whether it's Azerbaijan and Armenia or Pakistan and India, or now with this exchange of hostages. Now they still got to get to the governance, but he set a framework here that's really built on the Abraham Accords of his first term, that's not based completely on political dynamics, but also economic realities and cooperation that can hopefully stand the test of time.
The rest of the world will follow. This is what we learned 4 decades ago with Reagan. His success at home and on the world stage, okay? People mocked Reagan, right, in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they were lining up to find out how he was doing it. It had a global impact, Senator Schmitt, and I don't think it's yet understood properly that President Trump's successes at home and overseas, including completely rechanging the Middle East. This is global stuff. The other countries, the European doubters, for example, and China's a big loser, and I think Russia's going to wind up being a big loser too. They're going to follow suit. They're going to want to know how he does it. That's what happened when I was a kid working for Reagan. That's what they wanted to know. How'd you do it? The G7 and the G20? It's going to have a global impact, sir.
Yeah, he has innate instincts here that are right, and the globalists have been betting against President Trump for a long time now, and we're kind of a decade into this. And just think of the difference between the first term, when President Trump was talking to the Europeans about stepping up for 5% of their GDP for their national defense. They mocked him, but now they're doing it. Because it's proven to be that hopefully they understand now the importance of that. But President Trump is a singular political figure. I think the most consequential president we've had in generations in this country, and this is just sort of another notch on the belt here of a serious person with great accomplishments.
I was watching Emmanuel Macron, whom I happen to know, by the way, but rather well. But Emmanuel Macron trying to shake Trump's hand for about 25 minutes. Did you notice? He wouldn't let go of his hand. What Macron was doing was holding on for dear life for his own government, which is completely failing. He wouldn't let go. Did you watch how? It was like he couldn't pull it away. This is Macron. I've never seen Macron was never like that with Trump before. Here he was holding on for dear life. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think, and I've seen President Trump around a lot of these leaders, and he's got a magnetic personality. And by the way, winning begets more winning. America is back, and people see it, and they want to be around it, and they know it's a good thing for the rest of the world too.
I got just a minute, Mr. Schmitt. I hate to even raise the subject, but there is the shutdown and the issue of pulling the trigger on non-essential workers and programs. Can you give us your Senator Eric Schmitt read?
Yeah, we're getting there. I mean, we're starting week 3 of the Schumer shutdown, and it's totally irrational, Larry. There's really not anything that they really want. They'll sort of talk about other things, but their offer on the table is $1.5 trillion worth of spending, $5 billion for all these crazy programs that USAID, we defunded the rescissions package. They want health care for illegal immigrants. That's what they're offering. But really, this is about fighting Trump. So that's why it's not a rational discussion. We'll see what happens this week. But as far as what the government's going to do, the president has made clear, and Russ Vought's made clear what their priorities are, which is they're going to make sure the military members get paid, they're going to make sure law enforcement gets paid. And if we get a little bit further down the road here, there's going to have to be some decisions made because the government's just running out of money. And the Republicans have offered a clean CR, which is usually the exit ramp here, and the Democrats keep saying no. They're way more interested in grandstanding than governing. That's the truth.
It's unbelievable to me. We got to go. But here's this world reverberating national leader, Mr. Trump, who is now a global leader, okay? And these guys, these Democrats, are still fiddling around with some pissant thing where they won't allow a continuing resolution to pass. I mean, who do they think they're kidding? They're destroying themselves. I mean, I'd go right ahead, make my day. But it's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
They don't have another play in the playbook. They really don't, and it hasn't worked for them. The American people rejected this before. We saw everything unfold. They don't have another play. They're leaderless. They don't have a message. All they can do is, you know, orange man bad, nonsense, no king's rally. It's so ridiculous. People are tired of it.
Yeah, this kid Mandami, we'll get to him later in the show. Senator Eric Schmitt, you're terrific, sir. Thanks for helping, as always. You betcha.